What we're here to talk about today is Fracture, a game releasing summer 2008, being published by LucasArts and developed by Day One Studios. The game puts the players on the front lines of an epic futuristic war and allows them to reshape the battlefield on the fly.
One of the things we set out to do with Fracture is to really make the gameplay significantly different, and we've chosen to go after more interaction through the terrain deformation. So the players can literally rip apart the terrain, use it to their advantage, use it from a tactical improvement standpoint. They can use it for navigation, they can use it for pure destruction, they can use it to protect themselves. All these things allow the player a lot of choices, and when we approached the genre, we really wanted the player to have a very different experience. And so all the weapons, all the design of the grenades and everything all feed into this idea of interacting with the terrain and using it for the different purposes. So our goal is to make other games feel very static, and I think when you see what we've done, I think we've achieved our goal, and hopefully you'll feel the same way.
The key to the game is a feature that we call terrain deformation that gives the player unprecedented control over the battlefield. The player will be able to use terrain deformation in a multitude of ways. You can use it for cover, you can use it for destruction, you can use it for navigation, you can use it to gain a tactical advantage, and you can also use it for puzzle solving.
Terrain deformation is going to change the gameplay in a number of ways, in that the player is not bounded. It's not as linear of experience. So there's multiple ways to solve problems. If they're dealing with an enemy that is high in a building, for example, they don't necessarily have to settle for being lower than them. They can literally build the terrain so they can get up to their height. And there's a number of vehicles in the game to do that, whether it be just deforming the terrain, or we've got what we refer to as a spike grenade that you'll see in the demo later. And the player can actually ride that up and get up to a higher elevation and kind of level the playing field, if you want to think of it that way. Also using it as cover, so if a very aggressive enemy is attacking him, he may be able to use it to block that enemy and get that enemy's tactics to change. So that's how the terrain deformation works.
The hero character in the game is a fellow named Mason Briggs. He fights on the side of the Atlantic Alliance. Mason Briggs is a terrain demolitions expert in the Atlantic Alliance Army, so he is uniquely skilled and able to deform terrain and fight the war.
The technology that goes into Fracture, because we wanted to focus on really two main things. We wanted this interactivity, and we wanted it to be accessible. And we felt the best way to achieve that is to use proprietary technology, because there was no technology that we looked at from a middleware standpoint that would allow us to get the kind of performance that we needed to have all the physics interaction, all of the deformation of the terrain at the frame rate that we wanted for an action shooter type of game. So the technology has been very, very challenging. Most of the systems that whether it be animation or artificial intelligence, really had to be rethought, because the AI being an example of the terrain dynamically changing, how the AI interacts with that, how they use the terrain, how they deform the terrain themselves, how they fight against you if you deform the terrain, all had to be rethought and iterated on. And I think you'll find it pretty interesting when you see it. I think the one thing I would like people to think about in Fracture is this interactivity, and getting the fact that you reshape the battlefield, you can reshape you as a person and how you fight, and in that turn reshape the nation, because it is about a fractured nation, not only fractured ground but fractured nation. So the whole idea of reshaping the battlefield is the one thing I think they should take away from.